I planned the perfect Thanksgiving only for my violent 8-year-old nephew to beat me in my own home, threaten to kill me, my sister and mom to blame me for escalating, and my entire family to split apart in one night. I woke up that morning hoping the day would be calm, or at least manageable. Whenever my nephew visits, there's always a part of me bracing for what might happen. He's only 8, but the intensity of his behavior, the way he can switch from calm to violent in an instant, has left a trail of injuries, hospitalizations, and fear throughout my family. I've seen my mother bruised and beaten, barely able to walk after one of his episodes. I've seen teachers, therapists, counselors, even police officers struggle to keep him under control. We've watched him cycle in and out of inpatient programs. So when my sister announced they were coming over, I tried to be optimistic, but deep down I knew I should prepare for the worst. When they arrived, the energy shifted almost immediately. He started bouncing on the furniture, jumping from one couch cushion to another like it was a game, yelling and swearing loudly. At first, I tried redirecting him, reminding him gently that we have rules in our house. But he ignored every word. He'd run off, then come back just to hit me in the head before darting away again, laughing. I told him firmly to knock it off. My parents told him too. Nothing made a difference. My sister, as usual, didn't discipline him. She watched passively, scrolling on her phone or staring off, as if this was just normal mischief. Maybe to her it was. Maybe when you live in crisis every day, even the dangerous things start feeling routine. Over the next few hours, his behavior snowballed. He hit me in the head again and again, sometimes open-handed, sometimes with a closed fist. He slapped the back of my head so many times I lost count. My patience was thinning, but I kept trying to stay calm. But every attempt at correction, every please stop, every that's enough, every respect our house, was ignored or mocked. The breaking point wasn't dramatic. It was simply the accumulation of 3 exhausting hours, topped off by the moment he attacked my brother. He lunged at him, hitting him hard enough to knock the drink out of his hand. It splattered across the carpet. My brother, startled, just backed away. My nephew laughed like it was the funniest thing in the world. By dinner, the constant barrage to my head hadn't stopped. I was trying to eat, trying to have a moment of peace, but he hovered near me, taking every opportunity to hit me again. I warned him one more time. If you keep doing this, you're not coming back here. No Christmas presents. No visits. I'm done. My parents reinforced it. My nephew didn't care. He hit me again. I tried ignoring him, genuinely tried. It didn't matter. He seemed energized by the lack of attention, hitting me harder, leaning into my personal space, daring me to react. Finally, I hit my limit. I stood up, turned to him, and grabbed him by the shoulders. It wasn't out of anger. It was out of desperation to stop the cycle before it escalated further, the way it had so many other times. I lifted him up to bring him over to my sister, thinking maybe if he were right beside her, she'd finally step in. The moment I picked him up, he laughed like he was on a ride. "This is fun," he said. And then, without hesitation, he jerked forward and slammed his forehead into my face. Pain exploded through my nose. I nearly dropped him, my grip slipping, but I caught him with one arm around his chest. That's when my sister suddenly snapped to attention. She saw the position I had him in and screamed, thinking I was choking him. I wasn't. My arm was across his chest, holding him up, but the panic in her voice made the situation feel chaotic and out of control. I lowered him toward her, but the moment his feet hit the floor, he swung and punched me square in the face. Instinctively, I restrained him, one hand on his back, the other holding his wrist so he couldn't strike again. I wasn't angry. I was bracing for another hit. I've seen the way he can spiral. I know what he's capable of. My mother and sister both started screaming for me to stop. I loosened my grip immediately, and he rewarded that small mercy by punching me again, even harder than before. My sister kept yelling at me, even while she was physically on top of her son, trying to restrain him. The whole thing was a blur of noise. Her shouting, my nephew thrashing beneath her, my own heart pounding from the adrenaline and shock. In that moment, I figured the best thing I could do was remove myself from the chaos. I didn't want to make things worse. I didn't want to be anywhere near him while he was still in that violent state. But as I took a single step back, trying to disengage, he twisted free just enough to swing at me again. His fist landed squarely in my face, another sharp sting blooming across my cheek. It felt surreal, like the day had become a loop of him hitting me and everyone yelling at me for reacting to it. My mom and sister immediately turned on me, both insisting I'd been too aggressive with him, that I shouldn't have picked him up, shouldn't have restrained him, shouldn't have done anything except stand there and accept being hit. Meanwhile, my niece, who had been standing in the doorway watching all of this unfold, started crying. She looked terrified, wide-eyed and shaking. My brother stepped in right away, pulling her into his arms and saying softly, "You don't need to see this. Come on, sweetheart, let's go." He guided her away while my nephew kept screaming at me, voice cracking with fury. "F-O-F-F. F you." Then, with my sister dragging him out of the house, he turned back toward me one last time, eyes blazing with hatred well beyond his age. "F you, Uncle Name. I'm going to kill you. Next time I see you, you're dead." It echoed in the hallway as they left, his small voice filled with a threat that didn't feel small at all. And just like that, the night was ruined. My parents immediately went into cleanup mode, moving automatically like they always do after one of his episodes. My brother stayed close to his daughter, trying to soothe her, his voice gentle and low. My wife looked stunned, staring at the wall as if she still couldn't process everything that had just happened. I went downstairs to help clean up, picking up the scattered items, wiping surfaces, trying to pretend my face didn't still throb. I was exhausted, physically and emotionally drained to the core. That's when my mom started in on me again. She told me I had escalated things. I felt something in me snap, not anger exactly, but a deep frustration built from years of watching this pattern repeat. "He kept attacking me," I said, trying to stay steady. "He should have listened." She fired back immediately. Voices got raised. The tension in the room sharpened until it felt like the walls were closing in. I told her I wasn't going to keep being attacked in my own home, especially when my sister refused to discipline her own kid. I reminded her that this wasn't new behavior, that last year he pulled a knife on her and she was still blaming me for trying to protect myself. The shouting drew the attention of my brothers, who stepped in to calm things down, gently putting space between us. Eventually I pulled away, took a breath and said, "Mom, I love you. I'm sorry for raising my voice. I didn't want to fight anymore. I didn't want to add another layer of stress to a day already filled with too much of it." I went upstairs to keep cleaning and to distance myself from the tension. For a moment, I thought things had settled. My heart was still racing, but the house felt quieter. Then my mom came upstairs to help clean, and almost immediately, she started blaming me again. Like no time had passed. Like nothing we had just said mattered. She told me once more that I had set him off. That I had escalated things. That I should have handled it differently. And something inside me, something tired and frayed, snapped again. I told her that no one was disciplining him, that he was being disruptive and abusive in my own home, and everyone had expected me to just endure it indefinitely. My dad, trying to bridge the gap, spoke to my mom calmly. He explained that I hadn't hurt my nephew, that I had no intention of hurting him, that I was just trying to remove myself after being hit repeatedly. He said the boy hadn't listened to anyone all day, that something had to give. But the damage was done. The night was already overshadowed by violence, blame, and heartbreak. And even though the house slowly quieted again, the weight of everything lingered. A heaviness I knew wouldn't lift anytime soon. After all the shouting and chaos, the mood in the house was completely gone. The warmth, the anticipation, the celebration I had been hoping for all day just dissolved into heaviness. One by one, everyone left, except for one of my brothers, who stayed behind. He told me he couldn't bring himself to leave because he knew how much effort I had put into Thanksgiving. I had spent hundreds of dollars, taken the whole week off work, and spent months planning every detail so my family could have something special. And in a matter of minutes, it had all been destroyed. I felt heartbroken in a way I don't think I ever have at a family gathering. Not angry, just deeply, painfully disappointed. My brother sitting with me helped a little, but the emptiness in the house after everyone left felt like a physical weight. Later, my wife talked to me privately. She was calm, but serious. She told me she was worried, not just emotionally, but physically. She said point blank that my nephew is a liability, and that sooner or later he's going to seriously hurt me, or her, or someone else we care about. She said she wasn't willing to take that risk anymore. My nose was swollen and crooked, my cheek already bruising from the punches, and the pounding headache I had wouldn't go away despite all the ibuprofen I'd taken. Her concern felt justified. It felt real. But then the phone calls started, one after another. It turned into another argument, just spread out across speakerphones and text messages instead of the kitchen. My brothers and my wife were united. They said I handled things the best I could under the circumstances. That restraining him after being repeatedly attacked was not only reasonable, but necessary for my own safety. They kept telling me I did nothing wrong, that I was the one who was hurt, not the one causing harm. My mom and sister, on the other hand, insisted I escalated the situation. They said I should have just kept the peace, even if that meant continuing to let him hit me. Because of his mental health problems. Because he can't help it. Because that's just how he is. The idea that I was supposed to stand there and take it over and over again felt insane to me. It felt unfair. It felt like they were asking me to be a target for the sake of avoiding confrontation. My dad said he understood why I did what I did. He said he agreed with me. But he was also upset that I was angry at the family for not stepping in. He said he felt hurt that I believed no one else tried. But how could I not feel that way when the only time anyone yelled was when I finally protected myself? My wife and I talked again that night and decided something needed to change. We agreed that my nephew is no longer welcome in our home. We can't keep putting ourselves in harm's way. This wasn't a one-time incident. It was the third time he had attacked me at a family event and had to be physically restrained. He attacks my sister regularly. He has sent my mom to the hospital. He has injured kids at school, adults, even police officers. There is a pattern, and it is dangerous. I can't ignore that anymore. My brother, who has a daughter, told me he won't let her anywhere near my nephew again. The look on her face earlier, pure terror, haunted him. My other brother called later that night to say how sorry he was that everything got ruined, and that he and his girlfriend won't attend any family events if my nephew is there either. Everyone who saw what happened firsthand understood the risk. Now my family feels completely torn, and I honestly don't know what's going to happen moving forward. 2 of my other siblings weren't even there that night, and I have no idea where they stand or how they'll react when they hear what happened. A part of me already knows this is going to break my parents' hearts. They've always wanted our family together, holidays, birthdays, everything. But I can't keep sacrificing my physical safety just to maintain an illusion of peace. I can't keep being attacked while everyone tells me I should just accept it. I refuse to keep being the punching bag. I refuse to pretend this is normal. What makes it worse is that my nephew has a long history of violence, years of it. Counselors, therapists, inpatient stays, police involvement, expulsions from school. None of this is new. He's attacked teachers, classmates, family members, medical professionals, and even the police. Everyone knows this. Everyone has seen it. Yet somehow, whenever he lashes out, the blame always shifts toward whoever he happened to hurt, instead of the person who actually caused the harm. I truly believe my mom and sister let him do whatever he wants because they're afraid of the consequences if they discipline him. They've both been attacked by him, my mom especially. I know they're exhausted and scared. But their approach only enables him, and every year his violence escalates. They think that me defending myself, me stopping him from punching me in the face again and again, is what escalates things. That setting boundaries is the problem, not the behavior itself. Maybe at my mom's house that logic could apply, because if he starts getting out of control, I can just leave. And I have left before. But this was my home. I had exhausted every option. Redirecting him, verbally correcting him, ignoring him, asking my sister to intervene, physically moving away from him. I tried everything. Nothing worked. And I will not be attacked in my own house. It still feels surreal writing all this down. Like I'm documenting someone else's nightmare. I keep looping through it in my head, thinking, how did Thanksgiving turn into this? How did my family get to this point? It feels insane. It feels heartbreaking. And right now, I honestly don't know how we move forward from here without serious, permanent changes. I keep hoping that somehow things will settle, that my family will find a way to heal without tearing itself apart. But at the same time, I can't ignore the reality of what happened or the danger my nephew poses. All I know is that this Thanksgiving was the worst one we've ever had, and I truly hope everyone else's holiday went better than ours did.